Hey everyone, really exciting week here at Decima Wealth Consulting. We've had a lot of new prospects, a lot of introduction meetings, which is great. But one thing I noticed this week is at the end of every prospect meeting, we ask, hey, what questions do you have? And across the board, every single person has said, we don't know what to ask. So I'm assuming that is a common thing. So whether you do business with us or you're just, talking to your current advisor, a new advisor, here's 5 questions that I think are critical to ask a new or an existing advisor to make sure you really understand what you're getting, who you're working with, and if it's the right fit. So number 1, and I think the most important, is what type of client do you specialize in? What is your typical demographic? And the reason that this is so important is, let's say you're worth $30 million and your advisor's average client is $1 million, right? Well, they're probably not as experienced in a lot of the estate planning and tax efficiency techniques, right? Or maybe you're 85 and your advisor's average client is 45, right? Maybe they're not as familiar with long-term care planning or diminished capacity planning, legacy planning, right? So we specialize in late stage senior executives transitioning into retirement or those in retirement. Again, everyone has a different wheelhouse. Make sure if you're hiring someone, their wheelhouse is your situation. Number 2, I think it's really important to understand their credentials, right? So make sure that if you have an investment advisor, they are a certified financial planner. Make sure the person doing your investment research has the appropriate degrees or is a chartered financial analyst. So what does the team look like? What are their designations? How often are they doing continuing ed? So make sure you understand their designations. So you're getting advice from someone who's taken the time to get certified to be able to give that advice. I think that's really, really important, right? Number 3, understanding, are you a fiduciary? Are you a broker-dealer? Are you both? Can you switch hats whenever you decide it's convenient, right? So what does that mean? Fiduciary is a word that I think is often misunderstood because there's all kinds of advertising for it. But a fiduciary is someone that legally has to put your interest ahead of their own, right? So they can't have conflicts of interest or financial incentives to suggest one thing over the other. So I regularly hear, oh, I saw a commercial, this company is a fiduciary. Maybe. What is commonly misunderstood is that doesn't mean your investment advisor is a fiduciary. If they are a broker-dealer, they most likely have conflicts of interest. And that's not always a bad thing. But broker-dealers do not legally have to put your interest ahead of their own. They can have incentives, whether that's commissions, bonuses, financial incentives, right, to suggest certain things. Now, they may do what's in your best interest. They may not. So part of the reason that I started my own company is we have no ties to a broker-dealer. We have no commissions or bonuses to suggest certain things, partner with certain companies. We can be completely independent, right? There's no corporate initiative saying we want this quarter. And I think that's really helpful. I always think about if I go to a doctor, I'd hope the doctor prescribes what's in my best interest, not what they're getting a cruise for, right? So same thing with finances. If I'm getting a product, I want to make sure I understand the compensation. So again, doesn't mean a broker-dealer is bad, but it's really important to ask them, how are they being compensated? Ask for a copy of their conflicts of interest and ask for their compensation disclosure. That to me is critical, so you know when you get suggested something what the financial motive behind that might be if they're not a fiduciary, right? Number 4, really important to understand what type of planning and what the planning process looks like when you hire a particular individual. So almost everyone this week, I've asked them, they've come to me for retirement planning. I say, what planning have you done? And the answer has been, oh, I got a really good Monte Carlo score. Fantastic. That's great. Important to stress test a plan. But a Monte Carlo score is not a plan, right? A Monte Carlo score is a number. And essentially, think about it like building a home. That is saying all the materials you need to build the home we're going to tell you you most likely have all the materials that you're going to need. But it is not a blueprint. It is not a design of how to put all those pieces together. It does not actually build the house for you. It's just saying you have enough pieces. So when you're hiring an advisor and you're paying for it, I think there's really 6 major components to the financial plan. Number 1 is a detailed review of your tax forms. If they're not reviewing their taxes, how can they tell you what account to draw from, what amount to convert, gifting, giving, planning for RMDs? All of that starts with taxes. So if they're not someone reviewing your taxes, then the trades, the advice, all of that is off, right? Taxes are the biggest expense in retirement, typically the biggest expense when you're working. So if they're not reviewing your tax form, how are they giving you precise advice, right? We pay for precision, right? Precision. Number 2, we want to build a net worth statement. Number 3, we want to build out a detailed cash flow plan that shows us where the dollars are coming from, what accounts, what investments. Number 4, we want to build out that investment strategy to complement that cash flow plan. We then want to look at the protection and coverage of health insurance, car insurance, house insurance, umbrella insurance, long-term care. We want to see where the gaps are in protection. And then finally, we want to review the estate plan, the trust documents, the legacy, the gifting, the giving plans, and make sure that all aligns with our goals. And finally, the last thing that we really want to look at is who you're actually working with and what their team looks like. So how many clients does your advisor have? I'm kind of embarrassed to admit it. At one point, I had 1,000 clients. That sounds like a great problem to have. I'm confident the client experience was diminished with that many clients. I couldn't tell you everyone's kid's name, grandkid's name. I couldn't tell you without, paging through notes what was going on with most clients. Communication suffers. So there's studies done that, the average human brain can only handle 150 connections. After that, the brain just starts to, malfunction, right? So does your advisor have 400, 500, 1,000, 2,000 clients? And if they do, are you speaking with them regularly, or are you getting someone junior? Are you getting a once-a-year frequency, or are you getting it monthly, quarterly? So what does that communication look like? How much attention are you going to get? And who's that attention coming from, right? So those are the 5 main areas. To recap, number 1, are you their target demographic that they specialize? Number 2, what are their credentials? Number 3, are they a fiduciary? Number 4, what does the planning experience look like? And number 5, how much attention and how frequent is that attention going to be for you? So I think that's a really good starting point to get a better understanding of who you're working with, how it's going to look, and what value you can expect from your partnership. If you find that this is lacking with your current advisor or who you're interviewing, come see us. Leave a message in the comments. Visit us at www.decimawealth.com. And hopefully this is helpful. Subscribe. We're putting out videos every week. Have a great weekend.